Just a warning. Some bitch! Close already! You some bitch! Ah! Okay, so I had the hiccups. I was waiting for them to go away. I did the cup in the water with the straw trick. Didn't work. So, we're gonna have to go ahead with this review. With the hiccups. The hell am I reviewing now? Fast and the Furious 6. Alright, now coming out the heels of Fast 5, there's some pretty big shoes to fill. Like, Fast 5 is considered, like I said, the high point. So it's gotta build up to it. Rewatching this, I think it was about as, close as you can get without getting to that kind of hype. So what's the story? Following on from Fast 5, Hobbs shows up at Dom's place where he's living now, and he tells him that Letty is alive and is working with someone named Shaw, who he wants to take down. So he gets Dom and his crew to help take down Shaw and get Letty back. That's the whole thing. I've said that Fast 5 is the peak of this, but to me, Fast and Furious 6 has the best opening of the entire franchise. First you get this whole thing where it looks like it's continuing off from the last one, where they're racing on their cars. It turns out they're actually going to the hospital because Mia's giving birth. And, there's those beats. You go through there, all old lives are over. They're not. But. And then it cuts to the credits. Let's go for a little ride. And it plays. It shows everything basically that has happened. Clips of what's happened up to this point. Of course, without Tokyo Drift, because we get to that later. And to the song We Own It by Wiz Khalifa, 2 Chainz, and other rappers. And to me, best opening of the franchise. You see everything that's happened throughout the first, technically 4 movies without Tokyo Drift. And you just... it clues you in and it catches you up, and then you, boom, get into this. Hobbs shows up, he's talking to Dom, he shows him the thing. We later find out that Letty has amnesia. We find out what happened was Phoenix, who worked with Braga, he didn't shoot Letty, he shot the car, which caused her to fly off, cause an explosion, and caused Letty to fly off. She knocked her head, she woke up in the hospital. Shaw went to finish her off, and she remembered nothing. So he started to use her. We also find out that Shaw has a connection to Braga from the 4th film. And I think this is probably better. It was a good idea, okay? Because like I said, to me, Fast and Furious as a movie is this middle of the road, let's get to the next one kind of movie. Stuff happens, but it's not too important. Adding Braga into this film makes that one just a little bit more important, and there's even elements from it. You got Stasiak, who helps Brian get back into the country, because they're fugitives, of course. And he's able to talk to Braga. And what's funny is, he's under a different name, which, okay, that's always confused me. They bring Brian in under a different name. He's still got the same face. You think they know what Brian O'Connor looks like. At the beginning of Fast 5, they showed pictures of all 3 of them. And then in the middle of Fast 5, everyone's face was posted all over the place. They should have recognized his face. I'm just saying. They even said, as soon as you step off that plane, you're going to be in trouble. So, obviously, they were banking on him being recognized. But, surprisingly, they don't. He's on a different name. I don't know what name. But, he has... Braga's in solitary, so he beats up Stasiak, causes him to... He breaks Stasiak's nose again. And then, he's put in solitary, talks to Braga. Braga explains what happened. And, that's that little cameo from... that actor, I forgot his name. But, and then eventually, Brian makes it back. So, one thing about Shaw that has always kind of bugged me, he's got these connections. I hate that with villains in movies. Oh, no matter what you do, it's not going to work because this guy's already got connections. Like... They found out that he's got connections with the CCTV where the cameras are undergoing maintenance when the stuff is happening. And, The Rock or Hobbs shows up and he takes care of that business. They find the location of their base, but by the time they get there, it's too long gone, but they find this pain. And so they think, okay, we're ahead. And we know where they're going, so we're just going to take whatever they want to get and transport it out. Only, nope, because we set this up, so we're just going to attack the transport. Well, then we get the guys to show up, and they get arrested, but nope, we got to attention to the plan because we have Mia, and you're going to let us go because of it. Oh, and by the way, Hobbs, the person that's been working with you the whole time, she works for us. It's that... convenience. This is what starts to make these movies kind of... That's why, the believability of some of this. That's when people start show us Hobbs and Shaw, like, oh, a superpowered villain. That's too unbelievable for the Fast and Furious franchise. Really? You want to believe that Letty was proven dead, and now she's not dead, but she's got amnesia. She don't remember anything. And, but there's this guy who knows exactly what everyone else is going to do. He's ahead of everyone else. He and his team. But a superpowered villain in a Fast and Furious franchise is going too far. Please. So, everything I've just explained about the villain, Owen Shaw. Luke Evans, who plays the role, perfect. Great idea for the bad guy. And what I liked, I noticed earlier, he and Dom are talking and he mentions his brother. Great setup for the next one. We'll get to the mid-credits scene when we get to it, but... great setup for the next one. So, hiccups are gone. Just need to talk, I guess. So Hobbs is working because Elena is pretty much retired from this. He has Gina Carano playing it. Riley, I think her name is. And she's working with Hobbs, and she even helps out the others. And then it's revealed in the end, and they do this little twist. I like this twist, though. Because after everything's captured, they have Letty, And so, when they're forced to be let go, because it turns out that Shaw... And see, here's the thing. There are clearly... some of his people are missing. But they don't ask, where's the rest of your people? Right away, I'd be like, where's the rest of his people? What? He has more people. They saw on the thing, they were comparing him to everybody. There's an American Hobbs. Brian, why didn't you do this photo shoot? But they don't ask where the rest of his people are. I'm sure, all they care about is that they got Shaw, but to me, especially When Braga told Brian, you can't get close to Shaw unless he lets you. He even says that. I don't know what point, but he says that. So unless he lets you. You gotta think something's up. And then they reveal that they've got Mia. And it's like... And then I like it when he goes up, he punched them. You know? I would too if that was me. Yeah. So they do this twist. They are forced to let them go because of this. And they made a deal that they do this job, they get pardons all around. So they can go home. Back to the U.S. But Hobbs says, we let them go. Words like that, words like amnesty and pardon, they go out the window. And Dom says, they were out when we was born. Sure, whatever. And, so, yeah, so, you know, he's ready to leave. Shaw turns around and says, are you coming, babe? And the camera pans towards Letty, and even a couple of them look at her. And then camera goes to Riley, and she says, sure. And Shaw says, like I said, you were never even in the game. But they're able to throw off Shaw by hacking, or Taj hacks in and stops them from making the call to kill Mia. And there's this giant-ass plane scene at the end. It's great. It takes forever. How long is that runway? Alright? I'm sorry, but you got a big-ass plane like that. It's about as big in length of the building I live in. I'm sure. In length. This way. I'm just saying. It's probably the length of the hallway I have. My hallway here. It's probably that length. And it's not eating up the road. They're going straight. They don't turn. They're going straight because they're trying to take off. They don't run out of runway. Bullshit. I've said this since I first saw it. Why don't they run out of runway? They got a big ass plane like that. They're not running out of runway. Bullshit. Okay? I'm sorry, but it's bullshit. But you know, this is the climax, so you gotta keep it going. And they're able to take down the plane, but not without a casualty. Giselle unfortunately dies protecting Han because they got everything. They shoot these grappling hooks or whatever. They hooked up. They're up there, and she sees someone sticking up behind Han. So she jumps out, she fires a gun, and she sacrifices herself. Would you die? Would you just be really hurt? Because, you know, it's made it look like, oh, she's going to die, definitely, the way they set this up. And I understand. It had to set up a reason why Han would go to Tokyo, because they're sitting there before everything happens. Before the climax happens, and says, what do we do now? Settle down one place. We'll go to Tokyo. We said we'll go to Tokyo. So, you know, now he has to go to Tokyo. Sure, they're setting that up. He has to go to Tokyo. There's one problem with that, though. How long was he in Tokyo? Because how old is Jack in Furious 7? The son, how old is he? Maybe 1, 2 years old? So you gotta think Han's at least been in Tokyo for 2 years. He's had to meet DK and join up with them. Plus you got the time. It's gotta be at least a couple months that Sean was there before everything happened, right? At least 2 months. At least. So you gotta think at least been 2 years in Tokyo before his death. I don't know. I think Jack's walking. He gotta at least be 2 years old. There's that. I don't know. Just the timeline. They're trying to fit it in. It's kind of hard to figure out. So yeah, in the ending, they get the Dom's house back, which is ruined in Furious 7, which is one of the few negatives I had for that movie. It was I think I had 3 negatives for it. That's about it. Maybe 3. I'll have to see after we watch it, but I think it's 3. So, yeah. And Shaw's not dead because we find out in Furious 7 that he's in a coma. So he survived. So if Shaw could survive a fucking plane explosion, why couldn't Giselle survive jumping off of the plane? If Shaw could survive, why couldn't Giselle? That's the biggest thing that's pissed me off since I watched Furious 7. I'm like, if he could survive a fucking plane explosion, how come she couldn't survive jumping off a plane? It's bullshit. It's convenience so that Han can go to Tokyo. Because she's not in Tokyo with him, so she has to die, right? Prequel syndrome. I call it prequel syndrome. People have to die because they're not in future films. Or, you could just write them back into future films. How would you do that? Well, it's simple. I said Han was in Tokyo at least 2 years. You could say that sometime between there, before he met Sean, maybe it's because he started doing these dealings with DK that she decided she had enough. Because they were going to go straight. And if he's sneaking money away from DK, that's not going straight. So she leaves. And then she can still come back in Furious 7 to get revenge. There! I just wrote you, Neil H. Moritz, or whoever wrote Furious 7 in the previous film. Hold on. Who wrote it? This will tell me, hold on. Written by Chris Morgan. I don't know if you wrote Fast and Furious 6, but I'm telling you right now, there's an easy way for you to bring Giselle back. Maybe she wasn't available. I don't know. But I'm telling you, you didn't have to kill her off, okay? You didn't at all. I just presented you with an easy way to bring her back. Easy way to keep her in the film series, right? They both go to Tokyo. And because she can't even explain it. She goes, why'd you guys split up? He started jitting under the table. I didn't like it. He wouldn't stop. I left. And then she could say, maybe if I would have stayed, he wouldn't be dead right now. Or you could both be dead. Which they are, technically. It's very simple. You could have kept her in the franchise. She could still be in there now. But, nope. She's gone. Nah. The mid-credit scene. I mentioned this in my Tokyo Drift review. There's no one standing there. Sean would have seen, based on how they do it here, there's the car, the hit, he gets out, he's standing on the other side of the car. Sean would have seen Deckard Shaw, standing there. He would have seen him and be like, who's that guy talking on the phone? Or whatever accent he has. He'd be trying to figure out who that guy was, why he was there. Sure, they could have said oh, he's just talking to his insurance guy. Look at what happened. But so what happens is that, basically it's the same thing what happens. Boom, and I'm like, oh, they're just recapping it. And then they show Jason Statham get out of the car and say, Dominic Toretto, get on the phone and say, Dominic Toretto, throw the necklace. You don't know me, but you're about to. Boom! explosion, credits. Was it necessary to do this? No. No, not at all. They could have had... Oh, they mentioned Owen's brother earlier in the film. They didn't need to insert him here because it makes no sense. It doesn't. When you can try to connect it to Tokyo Drift, it doesn't make sense. Like I mentioned, Sean would have seen him standing there on the other side and be like, who's that guy? That's a better accent. And who's that guy over there? And be like, who, you know? But the fact that they don't. I know they try to connect it. I know they're trying to do a connection type thing, but again, I'm going to inject some criticism and check my way I would have done it. No mid-credit scene. Or you do a mid-credit scene not connected to Tokyo Drift. And instead, you go to an apartment in England. Phone rings. Guy picks it up. Jason Statham, you know. Hello? What? They did what? Who? Toretto. You know, set it up. Toretto. You're going to pay for this. Something like that, you know? They didn't have to connect it with Tokyo Drift that way. But they did. And it makes things more confusing. Like I said, the timeline where Sean is supposed to be 17, 18 years old when Dom meets him. And he's like, they haven't come back. He's like 37, 38 years old now. You know? Or 35, I think. I don't know. But, yeah. Overall, Fast and Furious 6 was enjoyable. A few moments that, I kind of picked that. But still pretty good. I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 for me. So what are your thoughts on Fast and Furious 6? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.